What is the district, or the denomination? It seems to me that there are a lot of people in our churches who have some very different assumptions about what a district or even the denomination really is in a brethren understanding of church. So let's take a moment to remind ourselves of what a district really is and how each one of us is connected to it. Understanding the larger church in a particularly brethren perspective doesn't really start with our relationship to other churches. It actually starts with our personal relationship to Jesus. One of the old brethren phrases that we believe in is no force in religion. Part of what this means is that every individual person needs to make a free and unpressured decision to follow Jesus. We follow Jesus not because of family, or tradition, or guilt, or some other pressure, but because we have counted the cost and made a free and voluntary choice to do so. This principle also then extends to each of our local churches. Yes, choosing to follow Jesus is an individual choice, but there are things in the Christian life that we are required to do that we simply cannot do by ourselves. We need to worship with other people. We need other people to help correct us when we stray from the path. And we must also help them as well. We must read the Bible in community with other people so that we can hear the Spirit speaking through one another. We need to be in relationship with other Christians to do the things that we cannot do alone. And when a group of people choose to be in relationship with each other in a local setting to do these kinds of things, that is called a church. Now, while the local church is important, there are things that we are supposed to do as Christians that any one particular local church may not have the resources or the ability to do on its own. These might be things like helping congregations find pastors, or bringing people from the whole region together to build better relationships with each other, or helping churches and individuals navigate conflicts, or dealing with situations of ethical misconduct, or providing support and education for leaders and pastors, or organizing youth activities like rallies or camping ministries, or a whole bunch of other things like that. When we need to do these things that are bigger than any one church, that is when we come together with other like-minded Christians to do that work together. In the same way that individual Christians who choose to be in relationship with each other are locally called a church, when a group of churches chooses to be in relationship with each other and to do this kind of work, we call that a district. And for what it's worth, at the same time, it's also true for what we call a denomination. The denomination is there to help us do things like respond to large-scale natural disasters, or facilitate mission work, or create educational resources, or even maintain lines of communication so that we know what is happening around the country, around the world, and so on. Sometimes it's really easy to think about budgets and paid district staff or denominational staff and committees and all kinds of other structural things, and think that those things are quote-unquote the district or the denomination. But they're really not. Those are just the bones that we try to put in place to help us all come together to do the work of being Christians together on a larger scale. Or maybe we could say it this way. A bird needs to have bones in order to be able to fly and to soar above the clouds. Or else, it's just kind of like a chicken without any bones that sits there and flops on the ground. And at the same time, if the only thing left of a bird are the bones, and that's all you can see of it, well, then that bird has likely been dead for quite some time. In the same way, we need some amount of structure to help our district and our denomination live out the calling of Jesus. However, we should never confuse the structure itself for the people and the work who are the actual district or denomination. I've had many conversations with people who speak of the district or the denomination as some far-off thing that is somehow completely disconnected from them. where they imagine there are some powerful people handing down edicts and instructions of some sort. And yeah, there probably are other denominations that have that kind of structure, but not among the brethren. There is no mystical thing called the district or the denomination, apart from each one of us. In the same way that there is no church without the individuals who make it up voluntarily choosing to live life together, there is no thing called the district or the denomination without the regular individual Christians choosing to be in relationship with and work cooperatively with other Christians throughout a larger geographical area. So when you hear of the work of the denomination or the district or even a local church, remember that there really is no denomination or district or church without you. It really does come back to each one of us voluntarily choosing to follow Jesus and coming together with other Christians to do that work in our own lives, in our own neighborhoods, and around the world.